Well, first of all, thank you so much for sharing your stories. I hope you know that we up here do take very seriously our oversight responsibility, and as the chairman said, we have been very much involved in trying to make sure that we're sounding the alarm for some of the bad actors that are going on. More than 100,000 Americans are languishing on organ wait list. In Alabama, we've seen the problem up close. Last year, it's a disturbing report that I talked about in my opening remarks about incarcerated people having their organs removed without the consent, their consent or their family's consent. And this summer, the New York Times wrote a chilling account of a young Alabama woman whose heart was still beating when the organ procurement surgery began. Health Secretary Kennedy has promised to remove dangerous OPOs and to replace them with others. But Ms. Erickson, can you tell this committee what we can do to ensure that patients are safe?
Thank you, Ranking Member Sewell. It's absolutely critical that Congress keeps going with its investigation. You're right, this is a nonpartisan issue and affects people across the country. And Ms. Martin is right, all eyes are on Kentucky. Congress can urge the Health Secretary to follow through on his promise and remove known dangerous OPOs, such as Network for Hope and New Jersey Sharing Network, based on these allegations if proven.
Dr. G, you so eloquently talked about why access to affordable health care is critically important. Can you talk a little bit more about why it's so important that we extend these the tax subsidies in order to make sure that the 20+ million Americans continue to have health insurance coverage, and how that impacts organ procurement?
Because of the Big Beautiful Bill, in addition to the expiration of the enhanced premium tax credits at the end of this year, about 14 million more people will be uninsured by 2034. In particular, the tax credit extension will cause about 20 million people who receive subsidies through the ACA marketplaces to see their premiums more than double on average. And unless Congress extends those subsidies, they'll expire at the end of this year. That affects everybody who has coverage in the marketplaces, regardless of whether they have subsidies, because when the cost of insurance goes up, people who are younger or healthier tend to go without insurance, which makes costs more expensive for everybody else. Insurance is a requirement for transplant, many transplant centers across the country, because transplant centers choose to give donated organs to the patients where they'll have the greatest chance of success.
Great. Ms. Martin, you worked at an OPO, and so can you tell us what reform, if you could just single out one type of reform that would actually make a difference in saving the lives and also encouraging this amazing gift of life that people are giving? I think that the trust has been eroded, as you have said, and so what is, if you could just have a single reform, what would that reform be?
I think most importantly that right now, a lot of people feel like OPOs are kind of like vultures, for lack of a better term. I feel like families are pressured. They're not included in their loved one's care or decision making. I feel like making a transparent, informed consent process would be appropriate, and allowing the families to have more of a role in making these decisions and being supported better while they're making those decisions for their loved ones. I feel like that would help to improve public trust, and then again, also holding these people accountable. The dangerous OPOs need to be taken, out of the process.
Well, the horrific tales of the incarcerated people in Alabama and what happened to those families is just outrageous. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to enter into the record an AL.com article entitled "Another Case Over Organs Missing from Prisoners in Alabama to Go Forward, Nothing Short of Robbery." Thank you. I think it's important that all of you know that this is truly a bipartisan issue, and that we must get to the bottom of this in order to make sure that there's transparency and accountability in the organ procurement industry. And I make a commitment to work with my colleagues across the aisle to do something about that, and we will keep our eyes on what's going on in Alabama and make sure that my state does what it needs to do. But I think it's critically important that that HHS use its authorities to actually get rid of bad actors and do so. Having said that, I yield back the balance of my time.
Thank you. Pursuant to committee practice, we're going to go to 2 to 1. And Mr. Bean, you have 5 minutes.